Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence 1999, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but behind its copper-plated surface lies a tale of history, precision, mystery, and extraordinary worth. To understand the true importance of the 1999 2 pence coin, we must first step back into the Britain of the late 20th century. The year 1999 was a powerful turning point for the United Kingdom. It was the final year before the new millennium, filled with anticipation, hope, and uncertainty. Technology was rapidly advancing, people were preparing for the year 2000, and the nation itself was balancing tradition with modern change. Coins minted during such transitional years often carry a special energy, a symbolic weight that collectors deeply appreciate. The 2 pence coin of 1999 is one of those silent witnesses to history, struck during a moment when Britain stood on the threshold of a new era. Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly half a century by 1999. Her portrait on British coinage had become one of the most recognized images in the world. The effigy used on the 2 pence coin during this period reflects maturity, dignity, and continuity. It represents stability in a rapidly changing world. When people held this coin, they were not just holding currency, they were holding a symbol of one of the longest reigns in history, a monarch who had seen wars, technological revolutions, and dramatic cultural shifts. The obverse of the 1999 2 pence coin features the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait shows the Queen facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a design that emphasizes grace and authority. The detail in the engraving is remarkable, from the texture of the hair to the gentle expression on the Queen's face. Around the portrait runs the Latin inscription, a traditional feature of British coinage, reinforcing the connection between modern Britain and centuries of royal tradition. For collectors, this portrait marks a specific chapter in the evolution of the Queen's image on coins, making the 1999 issue particularly desirable. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic reverse design that millions recognize instantly. The 2 pence coin displays the Prince of Wales' feathers, a symbol deeply rooted in British history. This emblem, with its 3 feathers and coronet, has been associated with the heir to the throne for centuries. Beneath the feathers appears the value 2 pence, boldly stamped and unmistakable. The design is clean, powerful, and instantly British. It connects everyday currency to royal symbolism, reminding users that even the smallest denominations carry national identity. The composition of the 1999 2 pence coin is copper-plated steel, a change that reflects economic decisions and technological advancements in minting. Earlier 2 pence coins were struck in bronze, but rising metal costs led to the transition. This change created subtle differences in weight, magnetic properties, and sound, differences that collectors are trained to notice instantly. These variations are not flaws but fingerprints of history, evidence of how economic realities shape coinage. For ultra-rare coins history followers, these details matter deeply, because they often separate common coins from extraordinary ones. The Royal Mint, with its centuries-old reputation for excellence, produced the 2 pence coins of 1999 with remarkable precision. Every strike was intended to meet exact standards of weight, diameter, and thickness. However, perfection in mass production is an ideal, not always a reality. Within millions of coins, small numbers emerge with anomalies, variations, or rare characteristics that transform them into collector treasures. It is within this realm that the 1999 2 pence coin begins to reveal its hidden potential. Minting errors and rare variants are the heartbeat of coin collecting. A slight misalignment, an unusual strike, a die variation, or an unexpected composition can elevate a coin from face value to staggering sums. The 1999 2 pence coin is rumored among collectors to exist in extremely rare variants, including exceptional strikes, experimental blanks, and limited test pieces. These coins were never meant for general circulation, yet a handful are believed to have escaped into the world, unnoticed at first, only to become legends later. Imagine the journey of such a coin. It begins its life in the Royal Mint, struck under controlled conditions, perhaps part of a special batch or trial run. It leaves the mint, enters circulation, and blends in with millions of others. Years pass. The coin is spent, saved, forgotten, rediscovered. One day, a collector examines it closely, noticing something different, something extraordinary. That moment of realization is electric. It is the moment when history and fortune collide. Collectors are drawn to the 1999 2p not only because of rarity, but because of timing. Coins minted at the end of a millennium carry a psychological premium. They represent endings and beginnings, the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. For many collectors, owning such a coin feels like owning a piece of time itself. This emotional connection drives demand, and demand fuels value. Condition plays a crucial role in determining a coin's worth. A 1999 2p coin preserved in near-perfect condition, with sharp details, minimal wear, and original luster, is far more valuable than a heavily circulated example. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional services are especially prized. These grading companies evaluate every detail under magnification, assigning scores that can dramatically influence market price. A top-graded 1999 2p coin is not just rare, it is exceptional. The collector market for modern British coins has grown dramatically in recent years. What was once considered too new to be valuable is now being re-evaluated. Collectors realize that rarity does not depend solely on age. It depends on survival, demand, and significance. The 1999 2p coin sits perfectly at this intersection. It is modern enough to be familiar, yet old enough to carry history, and rare enough in certain forms to ignite intense competition among buyers. Stories circulate within the numismatic community about private sales, discreet auctions, and intense bidding wars involving rare 1999 2p coins. These are not everyday transactions. They take place behind closed doors, among serious collectors and investors who understand exactly what they are pursuing. For them, such a coin is not just a collectible, it is a statement, a trophy, and sometimes a long-term investment. At ultra-rare coins history, we always emphasize that coin collecting is about curiosity as much as value. The thrill comes from searching, examining, and learning. Many people unknowingly possess rare coins simply because they have never looked closely enough. The 1999 2p coin reminds us that treasure can hide in plain sight. It could be resting in an old jar, a childhood collection, or a forgotten drawer, waiting for someone to recognize its importance. As interest in rare coins continues to rise worldwide, the spotlight on unique modern issues grows brighter. Collectors from the United Kingdom, Europe, Asia, and America are all competing for standout examples of British coinage. This global demand has pushed prices to levels that once seemed unimaginable. Coins that were ignored for decades are now headline makers. Top 2. We uncover one such remarkable treasure. A coin that millions of people once carried in their pockets without a second thought. A coin that jingled alongside loose change, paid for bus rides, snacks, and newspapers. Yet hidden behind its simple copper-plated surface lies a story of monarchy, transition, mystery, and astonishing value. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2p coin of 2001. The year 2001 was a moment suspended between eras. The world stood at the edge of a new millennium, filled with optimism, uncertainty, and transformation. Technology was accelerating, economies were shifting, and traditions were being quietly reshaped. In the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II was already one of the longest-reigning monarchs in British history. Her image had appeared on coins for decades, becoming a familiar symbol of stability in a rapidly changing world. The 2p coin of 2001 emerged during this fascinating period, quietly entering circulation without fanfare, yet destined to become one of the most talked about modern British coins among collectors. To understand the significance of this coin, we must first step back into the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II herself. Crowned in 1953, she became the living embodiment of continuity for the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. Her portrait on British coinage evolved over time, reflecting her journey from a young queen to a seasoned monarch. By 2001, the effigy used on circulating coins showed a dignified and mature Queen Elizabeth II, wearing the iconic Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, was widely praised for its realism and depth, capturing not only her likeness but the weight of history she carried. On the obverse of the 2001 2-pence coin, this powerful portrait commands attention. The fine detailing of the Queen's features, the graceful curve of her profile, and the precision of the inscription all speak to the craftsmanship of the royal mint. Surrounding her image are the words, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fid Def, a Latin inscription meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. For collectors, these inscriptions are not mere text, they are echoes of centuries-old traditions that connect modern Britain to its medieval past. Turning the coin over reveals an equally symbolic design. The reverse of the 2-pence coin features the Prince of Wales' feathers, a badge deeply rooted in royal history. This emblem, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers rising from a coronet, has been associated with the heir to the throne since the 14th century. Beneath the feathers is a flowing ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. On the 2001 2-pence coin, this design is framed with balance and clarity, with the denomination, 2 pence, and the year, 2001, completing the composition. It is a design that speaks quietly, yet confidently, of duty, service, and royal continuity. The physical characteristics of the 2001 2-pence coin are deceptively simple. Struck in copper-plated steel, it measures approximately 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 7.12 grams. Its reddish-brown appearance gives it a warmth that many collectors find appealing. When newly minted, the coin had a subtle shine, but over time, circulation often dulled its surface. However, those rare examples preserved in pristine condition tell a very different story, one of untouched brilliance and remarkable scarcity. At the Royal Mint, millions of 2-pence coins were produced each year to meet the demands of everyday commerce. The 2001 issue was no exception, or so it seemed. On paper, it was an ordinary circulation coin. But as collectors began examining surviving examples years later, unusual variations and anomalies started to emerge. Subtle differences in die alignment, edge thickness, plating quality, and strike sharpness began to set certain coins apart from the rest. These small details, invisible to the casual observer, became the foundation of the coin's growing legend. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2001 2-pence coin lies in its minting process. During this period, the Royal Mint was transitioning technologies, refining production methods, and experimenting with materials to improve durability and efficiency. In such transitional periods, rare errors and anomalies are more likely to occur. Some 2001 2-pence coins have been reported with off-metal strikes, unusual plating flaws, and exceptionally sharp reverse details that suggest limited experimental runs or early strike batches. These coins were never officially announced, never marketed, and never intended to stand out, yet today, they are among the most sought-after pieces in modern British numismatics. Collectors are drawn not only to rarity, but to story, and the 2001 2-pence coin has plenty of both. It represents a bridge between the old and the new. A traditional design rooted in royal symbolism, struck at the dawn of the digital age. It was used in daily life at a time when cash still ruled, before contactless payments and mobile wallets reshaped how people interacted with money. Holding this coin is like holding a snapshot of early 21st century Britain, frozen in copper and steel. As interest in modern coins has grown, so too has the appreciation for coins once dismissed as common. Numismatists began to realize that true rarity is not always about age. It is about survival, condition, and unique characteristics. High-grade examples of the 2001 2-pence coin, especially those with documented anomalies or exceptional strike quality, became increasingly difficult to find. Coins that escaped circulation, avoided scratches, and retained their original mint luster started commanding serious attention. Auction houses began noticing something unusual. Whenever a pristine or unusual 2001 2-pence coin appeared, bidding activity surged. Collectors from around the world competed fiercely, not just for ownership, but for the prestige of possessing a coin that symbolized a turning point in British coinage. Over time, private sales reached figures that stunned even seasoned experts. Stories circulated of collectors refusing life-changing sums, convinced that the coin's true value had not yet been realized. On ultra-rare coins history, we often talk about how perception shapes value. Top 3. Today's journey takes us to the heart of the United Kingdom, to a small copper-colored coin that once passed quietly through millions of hands. The Elizabeth II 2 2002 coin may seem simple at first glance, but behind its modest appearance lies a story of history, design evolution, minting mysteries, and a collector obsession that has turned this everyday coin into one of the most searched and talked about pieces in modern British numismatics. Imagine the United Kingdom at the beginning of the new millennium. The year 2002 was filled with optimism, change, and celebration. It marked the golden jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, a rare and historic milestone that symbolized 50 years of dedication, stability, and continuity. Britain was balancing tradition with modernity, and its coinage reflected this transition perfectly. The 2p coin of 2002 was not just loose change, it was a symbol of an era, minted during a time when the nation looked back at its past while stepping confidently into the future. The 2p denomination itself holds a special place in British history. Introduced during the Great Decimalization of 1971, it represented a complete shift in how the British people understood money. By 2002, the 2p coin had already been part of everyday life for over 3 decades. Children saved them in jars, shopkeepers counted them at closing time, and commuters barely noticed them in their pockets. Yet history often hides in plain sight, and this coin is a perfect example of how something so common can later become so rare. Turning our attention to the design, the 2002 2p coin proudly features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. This portrait, created by Ian Rank Broadley, shows the Queen with a dignified and mature expression, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Every fine detail, from the delicate facial features to the subtle texture of the tiara, reflects the craftsmanship of the royal mint. Surrounding the portrait is the familiar Latin inscription that translates to Elizabeth II, "By the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith." It is a reminder of centuries-old tradition, still alive in modern coinage. The reverse of the coin displays the iconic Prince of Wales feathers, a design that has become deeply associated with the 2p denomination. The feathers are crowned, symbolizing royal authority, while a flowing ribbon bears the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This phrase carries profound historical significance, dating back to medieval times, and represents loyalty, duty, and service to the crown. Beneath this powerful emblem sits the simple denomination, 2p, and the year 2002, quietly marking its place in history. At first glance, the materials of the 2002 2p coin seem unremarkable. By this time, the royal mint had shifted from bronze to copper-plated steel, a move driven by economic efficiency. The coin's magnetic core and copper surface made it cheaper to produce while maintaining the traditional appearance familiar to the public. However, it is precisely this period of transition that opened the door to minting variations, experimental strikes, and rare errors that would later capture the attention of collectors worldwide. Minting millions of coins each year is no small task, and even the most advanced systems are not immune to mistakes. During the production of the 2002 2p coin, subtle anomalies began to appear. Some coins showed variations in metal composition, while others displayed alignment issues between the obverse and reverse. There were reports of unusually sharp strikes, off-center designs, and even rare pieces struck on incorrect planchets. At the time, these differences went unnoticed, dismissed as minor imperfections. Today, they are the very features that set certain coins apart as legendary rarities. Collectors are drawn to stories, and the story of the 2002 2p coin is filled with intrigue. As years passed, numismatists began to realize that specific batches of this coin were far scarcer than official records suggested. Whether due to limited experimental runs, withdrawn mintages, or quality control recalls, some variations simply vanished from circulation. Those that survived often did so by chance, preserved unknowingly in collections, drawers, or old piggy banks. What truly ignited the obsession was the discovery of pristine, uncirculated examples with unique characteristics. Coins with flawless surfaces, razor-sharp details, and verified minting anomalies started appearing at private auctions and specialist forums. Each discovery added a new layer to the mystery. Was this coin intentionally produced in limited numbers, or did it escape destruction by pure luck? The unanswered questions only fueled demand. The rise of online marketplaces and social media transformed the fate of the 2002 2-pence coin. Stories of collectors finding rare examples in ordinary change spread rapidly. Videos, posts, and forum discussions turned this once ignored coin into a viral sensation. People across the globe began checking their pockets, jars, and collections, hoping to uncover a hidden treasure. Searches for the Elizabeth II 2-pence 2002 skyrocketed, making it one of the most talked about modern British coins. Professional grading services played a crucial role in solidifying the coin's reputation. When top condition examples received exceptionally high grades, the market reacted instantly. A coin that once held a face value of just 2 pence was suddenly commanding prices that seemed unbelievable. Each confirmed high-grade specimen became a benchmark, pushing perceived value higher and higher. Collectors value more than rarity. They value condition, provenance, and story. A 2002 2-pence coin linked to a specific minting anomaly or accompanied by historical documentation became even more desirable. Some collectors compared its rise to fame to famous era coins of the past, noting how modern rarities can emerge unexpectedly, rewriting the rules of numismatics. The emotional appeal of this coin cannot be ignored. It represents a moment in time when Britain celebrated continuity under one of the longest reigning monarchs in history. Holding the coin feels like holding a small piece of that celebration. For collectors, it is not just metal, it is memory, history, and identity pressed into a circular form. As demand grew, so did competition. Private collectors, investors, and institutions all sought to secure the finest examples. Prices climbed steadily, then suddenly surged. Auction results shocked even seasoned experts, and whispers of record-breaking private sales began circulating in the numismatic world. The idea that such value could be hidden in plain sight captivated both experienced collectors and newcomers alike.